Thank you for the opportunity to address you today in support of HB 1105. My name is Christine McComas, and I'm a lifelong resident of Howard County. My husband David and I have 4 daughters who have attended Glenelg High School, and unfortunately, for one of them didn't make it out alive. Our 3rd daughter, Grace, took her own life in 2012 as a 15-year-old sophomore. We immediately began speaking about the cyberbullying, and our entire family came to Annapolis in 2013 to testify on behalf of what is now known as Maryland's Grace's Law. Screenshot proof of vile, hateful bullying amplified to hundreds of her peers by social media, and our inability to get help and validation from multiple public agencies to whom we had turned in crisis was shocking. With wide support and help from many, Grace's Law passed unanimously through both houses here in less than a year after her death. I remember some of you from that time, and I thank you, as Grace's Law will now protect future Maryland children from hate-filled, threatening, and repeated cyberbullying. I'm here today because I believe I have startling insight which illustrates the need for this bill. Grace was a bright, kind, and well-adjusted 14-year-old until an uninvestigated drug-assisted sexual assault by an older Glenelg High School student, followed by months of sexual harassment, bullying, and cyberbullying, all of which HCPSS knew about from the very beginning. Mistakes were made and little was done about the matter. Death-wishing, dehumanizing, and sexually tinged tweets, which are in your attachments, were sent to hundreds, and the initial school response was that there was nothing they could do, and they wouldn't even talk to him or call his parents. Vulgar sexual harassment on the school bus, horrifying to a victim of sexual assault and in clear violation of federal Title IX civil rights law, were also reported, but again, nothing was done to investigate or remedy it. The months of unmitigated threats and trauma took their toll. After she was dead, HCPSS quickly washed their hands of any mismanagement or introspection, as I read in the newspaper that an investigation had been done and they had quote-unquote followed all protocols. This without anyone ever calling our family to speak with us to hear about our side of the story, and it's absurd. In September of 2012, we had an experienced law firm request any and all of Grace's records. At that time, only educational records were sent, things like immunizations, testing responses, things like that. Nothing was sent that had anything to do with her repeated need for help during the last year of her life. At that time, by the time I realized that they had not fulfilled the request, we were focused on making Grace's Law happen here in Annapolis. And we were trying to raise awareness.
If you could summarize, please.
Yes, I will. Thank you. In spring of 2014, we sent a second legal request for all pertinent records, listing many that were missing from the 2012 request, and they were duly ours under state and federal law. This request was totally ignored. In August of 2015, I publicly asked Superintendent Foose and Wise and the BOA Board of Ed why I remained without pertinent records with no reply. It was then that I approached Delegate Miller and asked who was oversight for HCPSS. In October and November of 2015, I spoke out at a town hall about concerns and approached our county executive asking for help. And he came back to me and said he spoke with Superintendent Foose, who claimed she was not aware of any of our records requests. I have publicly spoken 5 times and written many letters to state and local and national leaders about this since last fall, with no response from Howard County Schools or their leaders until last month.
If you could...
Yes, I'm sorry, just one more part. Last month, I finally, after talking before the Board of Ed personally and asking why my records were missing and who made those decisions and when would I see them, I got a letter back answering none of my questions, but stating that they were just sending on what had already been sent in 2014. Superintendent Wise's response was simply not true. The lawyer who authored the 2014 letter confirmed to me that as of February 12th letter from Linda Wise, Deputy Superintendent, she is mistaken. We did not receive any response to our April 2014 letter request. HCPSS has been adept at avoidance of questions and denying any chance for justice for Grace at public expense. Perhaps worse, their denial of and poor response to bullying and sexual harassment continues to put children at risk. I believe there are multiple serious issues that should be investigated related to lack of transparency, integrity, and humanity at the top echelons of HCPSS leadership, and HB 1105 is a step in the right direction to right that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chris